From Suzuka in Japan, the qualifying results see the Silver Arrows once again locking out the front row as Verstappen adds another pole position to his 2018 tally and beating Wehrlein by half a tenth. Just behind come the usual suspects, with Vettel grabbing third and is joined on the second row by Pierre Gasly. Van Dorn will start fifth as lead McLaren and with his teammate way down on row 5, and aarava will have a great view of his teammate's gearbox for the start of the Japanese Grand Prix from 6th position. Daniel Ricciardo was vocally disappointed with P7 in the paddock after the checkered flag fell, narrowly beating the Toro Rosso of Giovinazzi. And finally, rounding out the top 10, it's Kevin Magnussen with Rosberg and Sainz starting on row 6 ahead of the final race of this 2018 season.
What's going on, guys? Aarav here, and welcome back to my F1 MyDriver Career Mode, episode number 15 today, the finale of Season 4 for the 2018 season in the MyDriver universe. We're here at the Japanese Grand Prix, a very soaking Japanese Grand Prix. After a dry qualifying, it is pouring down at the moment here at Japan, and so that's already setting up what is already quite a finale, really, between me and Vettel for the championship. Red Bull v Ferrari for the Constructors as well. There is a potential for Ferrari to overhaul Red Bull as well in the Constructors, so it's all to play for. Both championships are up for grabs today, so it should be quite a cracker. But before we get onto the race, just take a bit of an overview of this season. Here are your different race winners of MyDriver 2018. You can see kicking things off, Stoffel Van Dorn. How kind of distant does that feel? He won the first race and now it's really not been the same season for him. Then you can see the likes of Vettel, Ricciardo, Gasly winning in different orders there at the beginning of this season. Vettel with 3 wins to his name. I'm with 2 wins to my name. Ricciardo with 2 wins. Gasly with 2 wins. So you can see in terms of Ferrari and Red Bull, although it's not felt like it quite a lot this season for me personally, you know, it's felt like a very, very mixed up season with a lot of different race winners. It really has actually, if you look at it an overview, it really has been always Ferrari v Red Bull, even though you've had the likes of McLaren being the fastest car so many times in qualifying, but just wrecking it in their own race. Mercedes late resurgence now. I think it's been 3 front row lockouts, I think, for the last 3 races, and then you've just got some wacky surprises like the 2 Toro Rossos winning of Sainz and Giovinazzi, and then Nico Rosberg, how could anyone forget that, winning in the Audi team car at the Belgium Grand Prix. It's been a cracking season, but now it's time to end it for the final for the final race at the Japanese Grand Prix. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to Justin to take you through the final starting grid, and then we'll get into this.
Let's take a look now at the starting grid for the Japanese Grand Prix, the final race of this 2018 season. It is once again Max Verstappen on pole position with his teammate alongside him as the Silver Arrows lock out that front row, finishing the season in a very strong manner. Sebastian Vettel in 3rd position for the Prancing Horses will be happy to be starting ahead of Pierre Gasly in the Red Bull in 4th. Then comes Stoffel Van Dorn, the lead McLaren car, in 5th position. He'll be joined on row 3 by aarava in the Red Bull. In 7th position, we've got Daniel Ricciardo in the other Ferrari. He's joined on that row by Antonio Giovinazzi in the Toro Rosso, again continuing to impress in qualifying. Lewis Hamilton will be starting way down in 9th position. He was very disappointed with that qualifying. He's joined on that row by Kevin Magnussen. Just outside the top 10 comes Nico Rosberg in the Audi with free choice of tire compound for the race. Alongside him is Carlos Sainz in the other Toro Rosso car. Then comes Nico Hülkenberg in the other Renault, quite a few positions off of his teammate. He's joined on that 7th row by Sergei Sirotkin. Sergio Perez in the Force India will start from 15th position. He's joined on the 8th row by Valtteri Bottas in the Williams. Then comes Leclerc for the Alfa Romeo team, Esteban Ocon in the 2nd Force India team. On the 10th row of the grid, we've got Schumacher in the other Alfa Romeo alongside Lance Stroll in the Williams. And bringing up the rear of the grid for the Japanese Grand Prix, it's going to be Grosjean and Newgarden.
So there we have it, the final starting grid of MyDriver 2018 Season 4. Here we go to 5 red lights for the Japanese Grand Prix. The lights go out and we're underway. It's a very gingerly start from everyone, really. Wehrlein gets a really poor start because Gasly moves to the inside of the circuit to try and overtake him. We've got Vettel there on the left, you can see, going around the outside in 2nd place. Nice and cautious in the turn 1. We've overtaken Gasly though, so that's good. Yellow flags. so no one's going to overtake just yet, but we go green now, and Vettel has got that move made, so crucial for him for his championship fight. Remember today, whoever really comes ahead in the top 3 is going to win this championship probably, depending on how the points pan out. And if Vettel gets close to Verstappen and overtakes him, then he definitely wins the championship, because whoever wins this race wins this championship. At the moment, it's Verstappen, thankfully, leading the way from Vettel, then Verline, Van Dorn here in 4th place, and we're in 5th. You can see we're trying to make a move now on Van Dorn, potentially if we can on lap 2. You can see the spray being kicked up, so we need to be very, very cautious. It's very, very treacherous conditions at the moment at the Japanese Grand Prix. Go nice and easy. Van Dorn squeezed out by Verline, actually, as Verline parks in the apex. We get good traction round the outside, side by side with the Belgian man, and we go side by side into the S section. We're going to try and get the inside line, squeeze him out there, and Van Dorn's actually lost the back end there, so he kind of holds up Gasly behind us, and so we're up into what will be 4th place behind 3rd place man Verline. So very nice move, and now we can try and set our sights on trying to overtake Pascal Verline, hopefully in the next lap or so through the exit of sector 1. Bit of aquaplaning you can see there, my wheel chopping away on the steering wheel and into the braking zone. Very tricky, bit more aquaplaning, and we actually go a little bit faster into that hairpin than I wanted to. We give Verline a little love tap. No harm done, but we try and close up to him, get in the slipstream, get a bit of tow off his car, but again, big moment of aquaplaning there, big tank slapper, and we just managed to hold it through there, so earning my rally points there in P4 at the moment. It is very, very tricky conditions for sure, and you can see here sliding through the left-hander, the second part of the spoon section, but we close up on Verline, actually get the traction, beautiful bit of traction there actually, and we go up on the left-hand side of the circuit. Can we actually get this done before 130R? Yes, we can, thankfully, otherwise that would have been quite a treacherous move to try and make, going side by side in full wet conditions through 130R, so thankfully we've got that speed on Verline down the back straight. He really didn't have the best time on traction off spoon, so now we're up into P3 and we can set our sights on one Sebastian Vettel. We can see his car just about, or more likely we can see his spray up ahead, but it's not over yet. We need to kind of look behind us, make sure Verline doesn't come back at us, because that Mercedes engine has been improving steadily race after race, but thankfully we've just got the measure. But actually going to turn 1, going a little bit wide, a bit of a more tank slapper, a bit of a slider yet again, but we keep it in P3. But you can just see what I meant by treacherous conditions. We just can't let our focus go. If we let our focus go, our eye off the prize, we are going to make a mistake and we are going to go off there just like we did. Thankfully, that wasn't a big moment for us, and we're able to keep it in P3. But actually, there's probably a reason for that, because we come through into sector 1 of lap 4. You can see my engineer is actually asking if I'm okay to change to intermediate tyres. I say yes, because it's clear that's maybe why I'm losing the back end, why I'm finding it tricky for grip on this circuit at the moment. It's time for the intermediate. So you can see actually the spray has let up a little bit. Definitely not raining anymore. There's no more rain droplets coming down from the sky, so it's definitely time to come in for the intermediates. Verline looks like he actually continues on, because of course Verstappen gets a #1 pick there at Mercedes, so Verline is actually forced to continue on the full wet. So we come in, hopefully not getting held up too much. There are a few cars coming down the pit lane. We do get held up by the Ferrari car and the McLaren, and we're going to come out hopefully still behind Vettel. Yes, we are. You can see the Toro Rosso car, I think, has jumped the McLaren there, so that's Giovinazzi there behind us. So Vettel ahead of us. Verstappen's already out there, so he's got quite a commanding gap at the moment. That's pretty good for us, because if Vettel can't get anywhere near to P1, that's good for me. But at the moment, Verstappen's got a pretty good gap, although there's been a crash there, and that's Verstappen. Oh, you're kidding me. Verstappen's crashed with the Haas car. That was Newgarden. Safety car deployed. So does that mean technically Vettel is in a net P1? I think that potentially means. I mean, he was P2, Verstappen was P1, so logically you would think Vettel's now in a net P1, and we're in a net P2. That is not good news for us. Safety car deployed for that. Let's take a look at a replay of what happened there. So I was talking about Verstappen having a commanding lead, and then here it's completely gone by... Oh, wow, what an odd crash that is. That is very annoying for me. Newgarden, what have you done there, my man? Newgarden coming through, going wide on full wet tyres. You would imagine that would be the case. And then he completely wrecks Verstappen's race there, spins him round. Verstappen parks it up there. I don't think he's out of this Grand Prix, but he's definitely last place now or something like that. But now we go on to the restart of this safety car, and you can actually see, thankfully for us, Vettel's not in P1. He's actually P4. It's actually Pascal Verline now who leads this Grand Prix. So what turned out to look like a kind of poor decision by him and the team to stick out on the full wets, because the safety car got deployed, obviously everyone goes slower, and he was able to get out in first place after the pit stop. He made a free pit stop under the safety car. Same with Hamilton. So now it's Wehrlein, Hamilton, Vettel, and myself in P4. Giovinazzi behind me in P5. But now, as you can see, as I was talking through the running order, on the bottom right, you saw my engineer asking me to change to the set of dry tyres, because it's now time to come in for this slick tyres. You can see on track, visibly, no more kind of big patches of rain. There is a little bit of dampness on the surface of the tarmac, but it definitely is time for the slick. So we all come in there, all four of us. So there may be a bit of a traffic jam here in the pits. So hopefully I don't get held up too much, but I really have a bad feeling that probably will happen. It's happened way too often on this game for me that I'm not expecting it here. And yes, there you go. We do get held up by two cars there, the Renault and the Audi car, and we come out behind Antonio Giovinazzi, unfortunately for us. So we've got, I think that's Hamilton also getting held up. So Hamilton has got held up by three cars there, actually, because Hamilton was P2. He's now finding himself in P5 behind me and Giovinazzi. So at the moment, it looks like it's Wehrlein then. Vettel's up into P2. And Giovinazzi into a podium position at the moment. So let's try and get a move on and try and close up to Giovinazzi. The hope is, obviously, in the junior Red Bull team, that he won't put up too much of a fight. Of course, these days, Toro Rosso act a bit more independently, and so they're not going to listen to any team radio, so I have to kind of get the move done. But actually, talking about Giovinazzi, I don't need to worry about him quite yet, because I actually need to look behind me, because Lewis Hamilton is on it like a car bonnet at the moment on the hard tyres. Looks like he's really gone to the mood. I'm still trying to get used to the track. It's a little bit damp still, but Hamilton's not wasting any time. Probably up into a bit of rich mix probably with that Honda engine, and he comes down the left-hand side. We go side by side up towards 130R. He's going to get the move done side by side. I let him go there. We lift off a little bit. Just about narrowly miss his gearbox there, because I want to try and get the DRS now, hopefully, or slipstream at least. I don't think the DRS is actually active yet, but we can try and get some slipstream at least on Hamilton to try and get him back into turn one potentially. But he's got that move, and behind us, actually, we need to keep on worrying behind us potentially, because that Renault is getting a bit too close for comfort, as well as that Audi car of, I think, Sorokin there also closing up. Hulkenberg closes up to us actually into turn one, but we close up to Hamilton equally enough. We're going to get good traction on the exit of turn one. Can we maybe have a look? No, we can't. Hamilton blocks off the racing line, so I have to stick behind him in the S section, try and get good enough momentum. But now I'm feeling the groove and the rhythm of the Japanese Grand Prix. The sun is starting to come out. It's go time here. Trying to get the move on Hamilton, then move on to Giovinazzi, hopefully, fingers crossed. So here we are further on the lap through 130R, closing up to Lewis Hamilton. Not enough to make a move potentially into this chicane, but we're right up his gearbox. You can see my nose practically touching that rain light of his on the back of the McLaren. We can try and get good traction off the exit of the corner. Try and get, I think we'll have DRS this lap. Yes, we do. Here we go. Slipstreaming our fellow countryman, Lewis Hamilton. Here we go to the right-hand side of the circuit. Move back to the racing line. Get the braking done. And we're up into P4. And now we can have our sights on Giovinazzi and hopefully not have to worry about Hamilton anymore. But interestingly enough, everyone, it looks like, around me is on hard tyres. I've gone to the mediums because really in the history of this season, really, I've been able to get these tyres further than anyone else. But actually, looks like Wehrlein is also joining me on the mediums up ahead. This is him leading the Grand Prix. Vettel there in P2. So theoretically, if it were to finish like this, Vettel P2, 18 points, me P4, 12 points. That's a 6-point difference. So Vettel would take the championship by 1 point. So it's not good enough. I need to at least overtake Giovinazzi, and then I can maybe rest a little bit easier. But no, you guys know me. I'm not going to rest easy. I'm not going to kind of just play the Alan Prost method of maybe just doing it to the numbers. I want to try and beat Vettel on track today to secure this championship if I can. So, you know, but the thing is, if I can't and I need to just finish in a certain position, I'm not going to complain too much. But obviously, I'm going to be pushing as hard as I can to try and overtake Vettel on track and get that satisfaction. But before we do that, we need to get a move on and overtake Giovinazzi. So here we go on lap 16 now. Taking a few laps to actually close up to him, because I've actually wanted to try and save my medium tyres a little bit, because these guys are all hard. So I'm on medium, so I need to protect my tyres a little bit more than they are. So it took me a few more laps to actually close up to Giovinazzi than I would have liked. But here we go now, aggressively moving to the left-hand side of the circuit, side by side through 130R. Fantastic job. Giovinazzi still manages to hang around the outside. He's actually going to dive it down the inside. He outbrakes me. Beautiful stuff there from Giovinazzi to actually hold his ground. And so we're going to have to stick behind him. We'll get the DRS now down the pit straight. Surely this will be the time to get him now, just like we did against Lewis Hamilton. That Toro Rosso, though, is very nippy in a straight line. But here we go. Getting the toe. Move to the right side of the circuit very aggressively. Try and squeeze Giovinazzi out into the braking zone. And we are up into P3. And Giovinazzi settles down for P4. But he did a fantastic job. His best job to try and defend from me there. And you can see fast lap of the Grand Prix by Verstappen. So Verstappen not at this Grand Prix yet. It looks like he's fighting to try and come back into the points, but it's not over yet. On to lap 17. Later in towards sector 3, towards Spoon. Giovinazzi's going to make a little pop. Maybe I go defensive on the inside into Spoon. He gets a much better racing line because I went defensive. I compromised my racing line there to try and defend from him, and so he'll get a great exit off the exit of Spoon. And here he goes down towards 130R. Will he try and make a move, I wonder? Here he comes, closing in like a shark on his predator. Down the inside, side by side. I let him go, let off, trying to get this switchback move. He's blocked me a little bit, so we're going to have to stick behind him just like we did with Hamilton. And yet again, try and make the move on the pit straight this time. But that's fine, that's fine. We can make the move into turn 1. It's a place where I'm very, very strong on this circuit. Last corner, not so much. You can see I'm losing some traction there, but we come back with the speed. Slipstream, DRS, here we go. We move to the left-hand side, did a bit of a fake to the right, made him think, made him second guess there. We go round the outside, hard, aggressive braking into turn 1, and we're up into what will actually be now P2, because Wehrlein has made his pit stop. So Wehrlein doesn't think he can take those medium tyres anymore. I think I can. I can take these mediums probably about 3 more laps, I think. So now is the time to push like an absolute madman. We go on to the end of lap 18. We come across the line. It's going to be the fast lap of the Grand Prix. We are getting the hammer down. Vettel's into the pits. Giovinazzi continues on with me. But we're getting the gap to him, and we're just concentrating on going as fast as we can now for the next 2 laps or so, because we need to try and make this effective overcut work, and we're to try and challenge Vettel to try and overtake him. So we're just going as fast as we can now for another lap or so, and then we can come in, and now we move on to the end of lap 20, so 2 laps effectively, and now is the time to come in. You can see on the bottom right, I'm down to lean to save as much fuel I can now for the last stint. We're going on to the soft tyres compared to all the guys around us pretty much on hard tyres, so we'll be a whole 2 compounds difference there. So he should have good enough pace to close up to Vettel, the hope is. But here we go, down the pit lane. That was a 1.8 pit stop. That is exactly what I need for the team. That is absolutely top stuff by the pit crew there to get me the fastest pit stop possible. So we come down there, and you can see, look at that up ahead. Vettel very close to Wehrlein, so actually it's time to start panicking a little bit and time to use these very soft tyres that we've got to good effect, because if Vettel overtakes Wehrlein, we've got an issue, because that means he's going to win the Grand Prix, and whoever wins this race wins the championship. And look how close to Vettel, look how close to Wehrlein Vettel is right now. He's done a fantastic job, Vettel has, on his in-lap and out-lap there to close up to Wehrlein. So we need to get a move on through onto the end of lap 21, going into sector 3 through Spoon. You can see on the mini-map Vettel very, very close to Wehrlein, and here he goes, Sebastian Vettel trying to make a move for the lead of the Japanese Grand Prix and the effective lead of the championship. Here he goes through it, down the inside, squeezes Wehrlein out. His fellow countrymen very, very aggressive, no love lost there between them, and he's overtaken him, and Sebastian Vettel is now leading the championship, leading the Japanese Grand Prix. And we've got a big, big problem. We now need to try and overtake not only Wehrlein, but we also need to overtake the main man, Vettel. We need to overtake him now if he stays in first place, and it looks like he's doing so because he's already got a bit of a gap to Wehrlein. We lock up, desperately pushing to try and catch Wehrlein. This is desperate times now. I thought we would just be overtaking Vettel potentially to get some pride, but now we need to overtake him for the championship. He's taken it into his own hands, Vettel has, and he's forced our hands, just like Australia, remember. He had a fantastic start there, and he forced our hand to go really, really fast and go aggressive at Australia, and he's done the same thing here in Japan. So here we go, trying to overtake Wehrlein potentially on the right-hand side of this circuit, but Wehrlein does well to block me off here, not doing me any favours. My former teammate from Mercedes, we go so close to his gearbox there, do the fake to the left, go down the right, dive down the inside, double lock up there, get the move done, and that is the place taken up into P2. But we've got poor traction off the final corner, an area where I've been so shocking against the AI all race long, and Wehrlein comes back at us with DRS. We have to try and re-overtake him as he comes through there up into P2 now. We've set another fast lap of the Grand Prix, I think that was, but we go and do a switchback move on Wehrlein as he kind of panicked and kind of almost bottled it into turn 1 in the braking zone. Kind of didn't expect so much speed maybe he got with the DRS, so it's a pretty easy move actually to get back up into P2, and thankfully for us that's good, because now we can try and focus on trying to catch up to Sebastian Vettel. You can see immediately getting in the groove in the S section there, and as we go on to lap 25, 3 laps to go in this Grand Prix, can we try and overtake Sebastian Vettel for the World Championship, our 3rd World Championship? Vettel He's trying to defend for his 5th World Championship. Into turn 1 we go. Very aggressive in 3rd gear. Getting the traction. It's a beautiful exit for us. We go side by side on the curbing. Vettel and me side by side into the S section, battling for the championship. This will be round the outside. Vettel gets it round the outside as well to the next corner on the left-hander, and he squeezes us. Brake checks us. Oh my god, how close was that, Sebastian, my friend? Very, very close. Very, very aggressive, but just about fair enough from Vettel there. But big break there where you wouldn't really expect it. That's usually a place where you just let off the gas and let the car roll through. But Vettel slams the brakes on, trying to defend as hard as he can and make life miserable for me, and he's got all right to. Obviously, we're fighting for the damn championship here, so stakes are very, very high, and my heart is pounding at the moment through the hairpin, trying to close up, getting the slipstream of the German. Here we go, the crowd probably roaring as they're witnessing what is a championship fight straight for the win of this Grand Prix. And we dive down the inside. Very, very late decision to make that move. Vettel gives me the room. Here we go, down the inside. 2nd gear momentarily. We get bad momentum off the corner, but Vettel's also lost the back end. We're on low fuel at the moment, unfortunately, on the bottom right in yellow. So we have to watch out for that. But can we try and make the move? And we'll worry about the fuel later. Can we just make this move? Down the inside of 130R. No, we can't. Vettel stays ahead. We're right in the gearbox. We're down to standard mix as we can't make the fuel go any longer, and Vettel does well to defend in the braking zone up into the chicane and keeps that 1st place at the moment. But we'll have the DRS. We don't need rich mix. We've got DRS, but we should have enough rich mix hopefully for a little pop at the end of the Grand Prix potentially. But here we go. Can we try and make the move right now on lap 26? Into turn 1 we go, down the inside this time. Vettel runs a little bit wide, but he's got great traction around the outside. I have to give him the room. You can see a bit of an opposite lock there, and Vettel's tapped us. We're onto the grass, down into P2 once again. So again, another failed overtake attempt there into turn 1, and Vettel is doing all he can to defend P1 at the moment. We're into the dying stages of the race. We've only got 1.5 laps left in this Grand Prix to get this move done for the championship. Closing up in spoons, swinging the car around. Can we do it this time? We've got enough fuel. We're good. Green light on the bottom right. So once again, we find ourselves in the slipstream of Vettel down towards 130R. And yet again, that Ferrari just has the legs on our Tag Heuer branded Renault engine. And so we have to try and maybe make a pop in the chicane. We tried to do a fake, but nothing is phasing Vettel. Unlike Wehrlein, Vettel keeps his cool. He's been in a fight like this before, remember. He's a 4-time world champion. So, of course, he's keeping his cool. We go on to the final lap of the Grand Prix. It's now or never. DRS wide open. Can we make this move? Finally, 3rd time lucky. Into turn 1 we go. This time we go very, very close to his gearbox. Try it around the outside yet again. 3rd gear, beautiful traction. He's squeezed out onto the curbing, but we're still side by side. Vettel goes wide. He's gone wide. We go around the outside. We're up into P1, and Vettel's bottled it into the S section. We're up into P1 of the Grand Prix, and that will be the lead of the championship, but it's not over yet. Remember, that Ferrari engine is going to be very, very good on this next section. Into Spoon we go, the last sector of this Grand Prix for the championship. Come on, let's do this. We've got a little bit of low fuel, so a little bit worried about that, but let's try and concentrate on towards this final back straight. Vettel, look at it. He's coming with the speed. The Ferrari engine. No, this is terrible. Vettel down the inside. He's got us. He's got us. He's got us. He goes wide, though. We go down the inside of 130R. We've come back at him. Vettel side by side with us. He dives it down the inside into the chicane. He pushes us wide a little bit, forces us to go wide down the inside, but he goes round the outside, gets good traction, and that's it. Vettel's round into P1, he crosses the line, and that's it. Vettel has won the Japanese Grand Prix, and he's won his 5th World Championship.
Yes, 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 great drive, great drive. Well done. Slow switch down. Numero uno is back, top class.
Woo-hoo! Yes! Sì, ragazzi! Oh,
Great drive. Ferrari's back, Ferrari's back. Fantastico, fantastico. Sei un grande, Seb.
Unfreaking believable. Sebastian Vettel has just won his 5th World Championship by overtaking me in the final corner. I've been poor in that traction zone all weekend, and he got it. He exploited my weakness there on this circuit and got it down the inside. Forced my hand, forced me to go deep. And he's got that, and you can see there by the championship standings, first place, Sebastian Vettel wins it by 2 points. He gets 25, I get 18, 7 minus 5, 2 points, 190 to my 188. And he's got it. Sebastian Vettel, your 5-time world championship now. And a championship win for him at Ferrari after so long of waiting. But, wow, what an ending and what a season this has been. Just absolutely crazy. So many different plot lines going on with so many drivers making names for themselves. Giovinazzi, 5th place there for Toro Rosso. Gasly bottling it absolutely in 3rd place there. No points for him. Ricciardo finishes in 4th place. Hamilton and the likes of Van Dorn not doing too well in the McLarens there. 2 Renaults sparking up quite a treat there, 11th and 12th. Then for the first time, I don't usually show you this side of the table, guys, but the bottom half of the table, I do actually keep track of the bottom half as well in my Excel spreadsheet. So there you go. But we move on to the Constructors Championships. A bit strangely, actually. Very, very strange, actually. It's quite odd in Formula 1 when this happens, but the winning driver, their team did not win the Constructors. I actually managed to get enough points there against both Ferrari cars to secure the Constructors Championships for Red Bull Aston Martin Racing. So, for 2 years in a row, Red Bull have won the Constructors despite not winning the Drivers. Remember in 2017, I won the Drivers' Championship for Mercedes, but Red Bull won the Constructors with Gasly and Verstappen. And now here, with Gasly and myself, we've done enough to win the Constructors for Red Bull and Christian Horner and Helmut Marko, but I haven't won the Drivers' Championship. So another very odd thing. Doesn't actually historically happen too often in Formula 1. But there you go. There's a bit of a summary of the history of MyDriver, because I know there's actually quite a fair few that maybe will catch this episode not knowing what on earth MyDriver is. So just a little history lesson. MyDriver started in 2015, and so here are your different winners from the 4 different seasons we've had so far. MyDriver 2015, obviously the debut, I won the Drivers' Championship. My team, McLaren, also won the Constructors. I then moved to Mercedes, and Van Dorn, unfortunately for me, won the Drivers' Championship, and McLaren won it with Van Dorn there as well in the Constructors. Then for 2017, last year, I won the Drivers' Championship narrowly there to Ricciardo, the likes of the Red Bull guys. Red Bull Racing won the Constructors, and now 2018, history is written. Sebastian Vettel becomes a 5-time world champion, and Red Bull Racing yet again win the Constructors Championship. So that has been the history of MyDriver 2018, and that has been MyDriver 2018 Season 4, guys. I hope you really have enjoyed this. It would be absolutely amazing. It would mean the world to me, guys, if we could try and get over 3,000 likes for this episode. That would be absolutely just amazing. And let me know what you thought of that final race. I hope you guys really did enjoy it. It's been such a pleasure to make this season, and I say it every single time, but I can't quite believe that I'm making this series like this. I wouldn't have imagined making a series like this for 4 seasons now, 2-3 years ago. It's just fantastic. This is now my longest running series, and for sure my favourite, and probably most successful in terms of engagement. Yeah, the views may not be there compared to other series on my channel, other people's channels, but you know, the support, the intensity that you guys give to this series in terms of the comments, supporting your own favourite drivers, you know, the storylines that I try and make, and you guys, at least on Twitter, appreciate them. It's just, I just can't thank you guys enough. It really is just my baby that I've grown, and I just love it. I just love it. And there will be a Season 5 for sure. It might take at least 2 weeks to get it ready, because there's quite a lot of ambitious modding I'm trying at the moment. You would have seen on Twitter, but a lot of changes are coming for Season 5. But it will be coming. It is in development, but just going to have to wait a little bit. But I'll let you know on Twitter, so do follow me over in there if you want to keep updated. But yeah, guys, finally I just need to say a big, big thank you to not only you guys, but also one person in particular, Justin, Fate Goes Pirate. He's been an absolute star for me to do the commentaries for the qualifying and the grids every single week I've asked for it. So thank you very much, Justin, if you are watching. I do really, really appreciate it, and hopefully you guys can go check him out in the description, his Twitter and his channel. But yeah, that has been it, guys. So I hope you have enjoyed this episode. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you?